The word stress, it's something that we all can relate to, that we all use from time to time, and we all feel from time to time. We blame it for our wrinkles, our gray hair, our breakdowns, our breakups, our burnouts, our snapping at people for different things for no reason. We blame it for everything. We never really learn what stress is and the fact that stress is necessary in our lives. Hi, I'm Dr. Asha. Thank you so much for joining me today. Actually, stress has twins. There's good stress and there's bad stress. So I want to talk about this today because I want to break it down because these are things that we really don't learn. I feel like it should be taught at a very young age of how to manage our stress, how to accommodate for it, how to work with the good stress and minimize the bad stress as much as possible. So let's break this down and let's get into it. The fact of the matter is that without stress, we wouldn't get much done. We would not chase after our goals. We wouldn't be motivated. We wouldn't push ourselves. We wouldn't get the things that we need for survival, for example. There is a certain amount of stress that is normal. However, we are not exposed to the same stress factors as we were back in the caveman days, for example. I mean, that was really stressful. You could get attacked at any moment and you were actually hunting your food for survival. Those are different stress factors, but there's a certain amount of stress hormones in our body that's actually necessary to get us moving and to get us going. And this is where we lose sight of how to manage it. In today's society, it is about learning how to manage our stress and also minimizing the things that cause distress. So let's talk about what stress really is. The response that we feel is not an alarm system. It's not something that is not supposed to be there. It is an actual built-in alarming system for us. It is a system that tells us, hey, something's not okay. We need to recalibrate or we need to change our course of action. But what literally happens on a physiological stance is something happens and the hypothalamus in the center of your brain, it's the command center of your brain, gets stimulated and it starts firing off, impulses. And what happens is it goes to the adrenals and the adrenal glands release adrenaline and cortisol, and then our heart rate speeds up, our blood pressure goes up, everything, all the fuel is sent to the muscles in our body, and then we are in the classic fight or flight response. Okay, now previously there were lions and tigers and bears coming at us, right? So that was a stress factor. But now we have 100 emails a day, we have traffic jams, we have people that are, unhappy with their service or whatever it is, calling and complaining. And we have so many different stimuli, and then we get overwhelmed. We get into this fight or flight response and we stay there. This is what happens whenever we don't learn to manage the stress and be able to bring our body physiologically into a calmer state. That's when we start getting overwhelmed with the stress results of that fight or flight modus. We have two types of stress. The good twin, as we were talking about, the twins that stress has, is eustress. And eustress is really something that motivates us, that keeps us focused, that gets us going. It's also our warning system that tells us something's off. So for example, those butterflies that you get before you give a presentation or before you speak in public, that is what the eustress is. That is the positive kind of stress that kind of gets us that excitement to do whatever it is that we want to do and to kind of step over that hurdle. It has been shown in studies that it actually helps with our productivity, our motivation, and our ability to focus on tasks that we need. So this is a good stress for us, and it's something that we need in our lives. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't get too much done. It's also been shown to increase your immune system and to normalize your nervous system. But here is the problem with even the good stress, is that too much of it can be overloading as well. It puts us in disbalance. Which brings us to the bad twin, which is distress. When things are causing way too much, wreaking havoc on our entire body, and we stay in the state of alertness and stay on all the time. I see this many times as a practitioner, And also with my coaching clients, I see this many times where people are not able to shut off. They just can't continuously stay at a certain level, and they are not able to sleep very well because the stress just sticks around and then it cranks up higher and higher and higher. This is when you can have physiological symptoms such as continuous high blood pressure, continuous high heart rate, and those kinds of things. This is most of the time the stress that we can relate to a lot easier, and we consider it a bad stress because under prolonged times of being under the distress, that's when we're really starting to break down our systems and we're not able to think very clearly. We're not able to focus very well. There's a lot of things that will create in our life and in our experiences, our interactions with one another. It actually, distress has been linked to heart disease and diabetes and actually memory problems. If you're overwhelmed and under stress for a long time, it fatigues you mentally. And there has been shown memory loss for people. So we want to be able to figure out how to decipher between the two. The easiest way that I can tell you is that if stress is moving you towards growth or change, that is probably eustress. That's the positive stress. But if it is something where you're feeling exhausted all the time, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling, that it's like really paralyzing, that is more of distress. And this is very important to be able to decipher between the two, because one of them can be really positive. And once you learn how to work around it, you don't have to have stress as your enemy anymore. You don't have to see it as a bad thing, but actually something that you can utilize in order to grow in your life. So how can we work with stress? Well, first we have to see it differently. We have to reframe our mindset to not think of it as the villain or our enemy. It's there for a purpose. It serves a purpose. It is there to warn us if something is not okay. Whether good or bad, it can warn us if something is exciting and good. Practice reframing your viewpoint on stress. Talk to yourself differently when you're feeling stress. For example, whenever you're about to give that presentation or publicly speak, those butterflies, just kind of psych yourself up to say, listen, I'm just gearing up. This is going to be great. You have to turn around your self-talk to be more positive and to be more inspiring and uplifting to be able to work with that. The other thing, which you've heard me probably talk about before, is blocking out time to where you are working on something for 20 to 25 minutes at a time to be able to focus your time and not be under high pressure stress for too long. Now, I know a lot of us have deadlines. We have projects that we're working on, things that need to get done. But if we block our time and just take a few minutes in between where you can also do things such as breathing, for example, doing 4x4, meaning 4 counts in, holding it in for 4, 4 counts out and holding it out for 4, that will really help you to be able to do in the in-between moments to help keep you balanced and to bring your nervous system back in balance so that way you can concentrate and focus. The other thing that I like to do is pausing. When I feel stressed out, when I feel like uncertain about something, pausing is one of the best go-tos I have found because I usually will pause and take a breath, or I usually will hold like one of the fingers on my hands, like just to that's my kind of reminder. You can create your own just to calm down and to focus on my breath. So I immediately will start breathing and then I will reply. So say, for example, that you're in an interview or in an evaluation at work and you're really stressed out. You are nervous about it. Just get yourself to calm down. Figure out what it's going to take for you to be able to focus on your breathing and to be able to calm down and pause before you give an answer. Before you speak, pause. Take your time. It is okay. And the last thing I'd like to say that really works with stress is laughter. This is one of my favorite things. I love to laugh. I love comedy. I love looking at the light side of life. I mean, life can be very serious, and some of the things that we talk about are quite serious. But life does not have to be so serious that it becomes a burden on your shoulders. Learn to laugh at yourself. Learn to laugh at life. Learn to make things a bit lighthearted, because at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what really matters? What am I doing this all for? What's your end goal? What do you want to feel and to do? So be able to laugh about things is very, very important. If it's hard for you to laugh, because I know some people that it's very hard to laugh, it is something that's really good medicine for your nervous system. Watch comedy. There's so many funny comedians out there. I mean, for whatever your taste is, there's so many different comedians. Laughter is one of the best medicines. So remember, stress is not the villain here. It's about turning up the volume a little bit higher whenever you're unmotivated and turning it back down when it's too overwhelming. It's about learning how to manage it and figuring out what your indicators are for yourself. Stress comes out in people differently. I mean, some people do feel the tension in their body. They do have headaches. They do have physical symptoms. And other people, it's about brain fog and not being able to think clearly or not being able to sleep. You've got to learn how your body is speaking to you in this way. It's very, very important. So I hope that this helped you change your perspective about stress and that it's now your friend and not your enemy. If this video helped you in changing your perspective, please hit the subscribe, drop a comment, email us, share it with anybody that you think may need to hear this reminder. Thank you so much. Until next time.